interested in while reading this book, and my discussion of the book will be based on the methodological and conceptual innovations and improvisations that Malarika brings to this book. So congratulations, Malarika, on this wonderful book, and I really enjoyed reading this very much. So a lot of things that I'm going to say would be often a repetition of what has already been said, but hopefully I would be saying it in a different way. So I would repeat that this book is teeming with ideas. So each page has something to offer which is different from the earlier chapter or the subsequent chapter, and it does so very dexterously. So it's not as if it becomes a burden to wade through the ideas that are spread across the book. She deploys conceptual maneuvers, and I use the word maneuvers consciously because I can see Malarika doing that. And she uses these maneuvers to weave together what I would call a very significant academic offering on South Asian feminism and critical feminist studies. The book is delightfully eclectic. It has all colors in a single plate, using sources from the worlds of fiction, film, theater, paintings, archives of the people and of the state, archives as text and as performance, and archives as spaces produced by the interweaving of text and performance. What makes interweaving possible is emotions, which she reflects on a lot, as both spectrums and orbits, and visuality, which I thought was very significant in the work. Visuality that assumes ruling practices of seeing, as in the construction of social fields of power within which women become visible in specific ways. And I'm thinking in particular of the example in one of her chapters of Suzette Jordan, whose hyphenated mixed blood descent simultaneously embodies colonial anxieties towards racial mixing, and we can see the post-colonial residues of that anxiety, which in a different way is also imbricated in power, where Suzette Jordan can be useful for a global Bengal because of her easy mobility, but at the same time her easy mobility would also be used to stigmatize her as a person of easy virtue. So when she is raped, it is not the friendly man who she meets in the bar or the club, but it is she who has to bear the shame. Yet these spaces are also braided with anger. So, and this is what I thought the chapter title, Looking Back in Anger, is I thought was a very powerful chapter where Suzette Jordan stops responding to whispers of Park Street, the place name used to identify her primarily as a raped woman, to look back in anger, in a metaphorical unveiling, to claim her name and to take on and interrupt the what Malarika calls the continuum of violence in a political public statement of courage. So Malarika moves effortlessly, I thought, across different genres, registers, and interpretative techniques, weaving the different textures of this genres seamlessly through innovative and compelling narrative style. In doing so, the book engages with categories which appear to be familiar, categories such as Eurocentrism, gender binaries, epistemic and foundational violence of colonialism, mobility, and sexuality in a way. But what she does is that she represents and reframes them by inserting the crucial element of space. With this insertion, what happens to these categories is that these categories acquire new surfaces, which gives them the critical capacity for framing the history of gender in South Asia afresh. Spatial framing, the book argues, is uniquely feminist as methodology, since it enables both comprehending and engaging with the asymmetries of power within which static categories like state, violence, borders, and violence imbricated in bordering regimes are entrenched. So what the book does is that it underscores, as Paulomi pointed out, the importance of South Asian feminism as an analytical frame, which resists the dominant ways of looking at social reality, along with the need for a regional feminist politics that draws upon a deterritorialized regional history transcending national boundaries. Such an approach believes in looking for transnational settings, especially in ways that may be construed as osmotic, as osmotic flow of ideas, solidarities and activism across borders to areas where they would dilute and diminish the concentration of state practices of power, if you will. Now, the transnational as a spatial category makes it possible to look at South Asia as replete with gendered meanings that have accumulated over a long durée of experiences with colonialism and decolonization. Simultaneously, as a spatial category that exists in the present, as a contemporary space, the past, the present, and the future coalesce. And they coalesce in a narrative register, as Malorika presents it to us, that defies accommodation in recursive and hierarchically ordered and structured histories of modern nation states. So if one was to look at the contemporary as presented by Malorika, the contemporary would then present to us enticing possibilities of looking at the past. And one of the possibilities that all the discussants have pointed out is the category of the hyphenated category of response ability. So the term that she borrows from Rebecca Schneider to argue that all history is, after all, something that we carry with us, and as something that has already happened. But this history would also have the potential to not just gesture in the present about the past, but also the potential to be iterative in the future. So, and I thought that this usage of this hyphenated category, an empowering category, hyphenation normally dilutes categories, but this is a category that becomes powerful through